Hi, so now we're here for number 6. Wyatt hiked 6 miles in 2 hours. At the same rate, what is the total number of miles he could hike in 9 hours? So first we should just figure out, we know we have our ratio of 6 to 2. We should figure out what our ratio would be if we had 1. So to get from 2 to 1, we just divide by 2. So then we just divide our 6 by 2. And we get 3. So now we know that we get 3 miles for every 1 hour. So to get our ratio of what it is at 9, to get from 1 to 9, we multiply by 9. So then our answer is essentially whatever 3 times 9 is, which is 27. And that's D. Alright, so for number 7, we know that Walgreens charges $3.25 for 5 notebooks. How much do 6 notebooks cost? So we have 3.25 for every 5 notebooks. First, we would need to do is just figure out how much one notebook costs. So then we just set up our division problem, and we divide 3.25 divided by 5. So 5 doesn't go into 3 any. I'm going to put my decimal point there. 5 goes into 32 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. 32 minus 30 is 2. Bring down that 5. And 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25, and then 0. I know that's not lined up very correctly, but we know that every one notebook costs 65 cents. Now we want to know how much 6 notebooks cost. So we could add 0.65 6 times, or just multiply that by 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 3 is 39. 6 times 0 is 0 plus 3 because we had that leftover 3. We want to know, and remember we're multiplying by decimals, so we got to count our decimal places of how many we're moving over. So we have 0 and 6, and then we have 2 and 65. So we move that decimal place over 1 and 2. Our answer is $3.90, which is B. Alright, so for number 8, the ratio of students to adults on a field trip is 8 to 1. So we know that for every 8 students, we have 1 adult. Which table correctly shows the ratio for each grade? So to get from 1 to 8, we just multiply by 8. So we got to look for the table that has the relationship of adults multiplied by 8 to get the exact number of students. So if we did 12 times 8, we actually do get 96. If we did 15 times 8 again, we get 120, and then 17 times 8, we get 136. So we got lucky on this one, and A was our correct answer. If we checked B, 88 times 8 is not 96. So that does not follow our ratio. Alright, so now we're back to proportion. So we want to know, what is 40% of 30? So we already know when we set up our proportion, we have 40%. And then we need to figure out whether 30 goes on the top or the bottom. Well, to answer that question, it goes on the bottom because 30 is our total. It says of 30. We want to know what part of 30 is 40%. So we put our x above that 30, and then next we would just cross multiply. So our math problem here would be 100 x equals 30 times 40. To make it a little easier for you, we do x equals 30 times 40 divided by 100. And that just gives us 1200 divided by 100, which equals 12. And answer is 12. Alright, so here, an ice cream shop sold 48 vanilla milkshakes in a day. This was 40% of the total number of milkshakes sold that day. So they made more than 48, but it was only 40%. What is the total number of milkshakes that the ice cream shop sold that day? So if we set up a proportion, we have 40% again, and we want to know the total. So we already know that x needs to go on the bottom, and then 48 would go on top. Next, we just cross multiply again. So it would be 40x equals 48 times 100. And then to solve that easier, we could do x equals 48 times 100 divided by 40. And that just equals 4,800 divided by 40. Which equals 120. So our answer is that they made a total of 120 milkshakes, but they only sold 48 of those milkshakes, which is 40% of that total.